Okay.
Clear to me.
So let's just start out with the backup. Now we got a backup, but he was extremely tight. Did you notice that? Notice how he just didn't want to pick his feet up, his head was up, his body was tight. So that's telling me right there that, you know, he's got some anxiety. He's just not comfortable with this at all. He doesn't trust me to back him up. Mm-hmm. He's like, you know, I mean, he's facing me, but it's more like, you know, I better watch this guy. Okay? You know, I better watch him. And right now, I'm going to blow him off. You know, I'm just going to ignore him. And all of a sudden, he says, wow. So let's back him up again. So, this is how people usually stop. They go, okay, my horse backed up. You did a good job. And what we usually do is we either pull him into us or we walk up here and we pat him. I just rewarded Ringo for being stiff and not being soft, not only physically but mentally. I just rewarded him for his thought that he was having. So what we want to do is we want to keep doing this until I want to see some softness in those ears, and I want to see some softness in those eyes. And when I start getting that, because he's telling me everything through his ears and his eyes, and until it's a lot of uncertainty too. It's a lot of uncertainty. He's like, man, I just don't know about this. This guy keeps on backing me up and keeping me out of his space. Why does he keep coming into my space? Because this, to him, is his territory. He's number one. So right now I'm saying, no, Ringo, this is my territory. And you can't come in here until I ask you. So when he starts understanding that, then you're going to see a lot of changes in him. But it's these little things that we miss. You know, we read the books and we watch the tapes or watch the TV, and they say, back your horse up 4 or 5 steps. But what they don't tell you is, what is your horse thinking after you back him up? Because we'll reward him for this behavior. Yeah, he gave me a backup, but it's still, his behavior is not where we want it. So I'm going to ask him again to back on up. Now he's thinking about, you know, maybe I need to escape. Now right there, I just bumped him. Now when you bump him like that, it's very important that you release as quick as possible. And it's also very important that we always come back to a neutral state quickly. I don't want this horse to fear me at all. I just want him to understand that I'm asking him to do something and that I want to be his leader here in the future. And I'm not stepping in here. My thing is build trust first, relationship, then leadership comes. It just comes naturally. It's just natural for a horse to just accept you as his leader. I don't want to force him to let me be his leader, because that's what I call being a dictator. You know, these people that run their horses around 100 times around pen until they get, and then y'all may do some of that, yeah. But sometimes we just don't know. You know, we don't know because that's what we see people teaching. And I hardly ever do that. I'm not saying I don't. I may have a horse that's just so hyper and he gets in here and he just wants to go. I'm going to let him go. And he can run until, you know, he starts thinking, hey, who's this guy? You know, who's this guy in here?
He remembers quickly. He was started the right way, so that's good for him.
He understands, you know, to yield, but a lot of times the horse hasn't gotten to the point of understanding the purpose of it.
Yeah.
And that's where we are at with him. That's the reason he still feels like the dominant one. And so he's got to understand that he's sitting there looking at me like, he's in that defensive position. He's like, okay, dude, all right, I'm going to back up. But, I don't know. I still don't understand why you want me to do this. And don't you know there could be something behind me that wants to kill me? I don't have eyes behind my head. So this exercise, this backing up exercise, is an awesome exercise because it builds trust so fast. And plus it starts getting him prepared for other things that you're going to want to do with him in the saddle. And I have a list of tools, and this is my number one tool right here that I use. And plus it gets their attention. You got a busy horse that's wanting to move all over the place and wants to get into your space. This is just a way to communicate, back off. Sorry, Ringo. You got Wide Earp over here. He said, dang, what's White doing in town?